Defenders and Avengers, straight up pretenders. This is the Heroes by the Pint podcast, and we welcome you all to part 2 of the Infinity War breakdown. We just went through part 1, and we are having so much fun. Hope you really enjoyed that episode. It came out on yesterday, Monday morning, and this one's coming to you today, Tuesday. We really hope you are enjoying our breakdowns of the Infinity War.
We're going to try and finish it up.
We're going to try to. It might take a 3-parter. Like I said before.
Thursday, Friday.
Every day of the week. We are super excited. Last episode we announced for the very first time we have a new sponsor on the show, Shirts on Tap. I'm rocking the shirt still. And, man, they are super great company. They're doing the whole box program, except they are sending you out monthly a shirt from a specific brewery in multiple cities. They also, through them, you will get coupons for that brewery, stickers, really fun package, great packaging. You can see it right here displayed. If you head over to their website here, or you head over to our website.
Head over to ours, yeah.
Always head over to our website. If you head over to Shirts on Tap before you check out, make sure you enter that coupon code.
That's shirtsontap.com.
HB.
HB.
Heroes by the Pint.
HBTP. That's right. Make sure you head over there before you check out. Enter that coupon code, HBTP. You will get your first box package for $5. That is one hell of a deal. You can't get nothing for $5.
No, nothing.
You can't even get a candy bar for $5.
That's right. And also,
turn that around back.
As always,
I got it.
As always, a huge thank you to our beer correspondent this month, Katie from Drinking Outside the Box. She sent us some delicious Georgia beer. We're drinking Orpheus Brewing as well as Creature Comforts Brewing. Now we're jumped into a little bit of Westbrook Brewing Company, One Claw. This stuff is a rye pale ale and super tasty. You guys enjoying that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Head over to our website, heroesbythepint.com.
That's right,
and scroll to the bottom of that page, click on that microphone, hit us with a little bit of beer fund money. From there, you will also find a back catalog of all of our old episodes, including Infinity Wars Part 1.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And you can also link over to all of our social media formats from there. Anywhere you stream your podcast, there is a easy click link for you to get right over there. Hit us with those 5-star reviews, and once again, click on that microphone banner. Hit us with that beer fund money. Now, I'm your host, Matthew Ellis. Joining me again is Ryan Brown.
Yo.
And Marcus Stevenson.
I've been practicing my slowness still.
You can't. I can see you, Marty.
No, you can't.
I can see you.
I'm certain I'm invisible.
I'm certain. Like you're eating munchos. What do you call them? I forget what those were.
Were they corn nuts?
I don't know. Pork grinds.
Oh, man. Drax looks like he'd eat some corn.
Yeah.
Drax looks like he can eat whatever he wants.
Jumping in, Infinity Wars Part 2.
Yep.
We left off in Part 1 right around the time when Thor and the Guardians break up. Mm-hmm. And they go their separate ways. The Guardians crew heads to nowhere to track down, you said the Reality Stone?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tracking down the Collector. And let's jump in right there, man. How did you feel? Because during that scene, leading up, I was thinking about this. They're heading there, and Gamora pulls Quill aside, and it's like, hey, if anything happens to me, if I'm going to be taken by Thanos, you need to end me because I know where the Soul Stone is. And at that moment, you kind of have that. And prior to that, they show kind of the backstory of Gamora as a child when Thanos is just destroying her world and killing her parents.
I realized at that point, I was looking over at Ryan, and I'm commentating on things he can see already. I'm like, that must be little Gamora.
Well, and then Tony, our fellow glassy-eyed, he was like, Gamora knows where the Soul Stone. I heard him yell it out, and I'm like, oh. I looked over at him yeah.
He's like, well, it was funny.
That's
He's like, I bet you it's in the knife. Tony was hilarious in this movie. He's sitting right next to me. He was hilarious in this movie to me because he's like, oh, the Soul Stone's in the knife. Somebody would show up. He actually finished an Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Somebody would show up. He's like, oh, that's death. And then it's not death. Then like the next scene, oh, that's death.
Oh, that's death.
No, that's not death. Like, the entire time, he's like, oh, that. I was like, it's in the knife that Thanos gave her? I was like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you would know where that is.
I think honestly, Infinity Gauntlet is going to be like after this one, like reading the book.
Think?
I really do.
Yeah,
I think like Infinity Gauntlet is going to be like after what we just watched.
Yeah.
So you see the everything transpiring.
Yeah, like, you see Thanos, like he's torturing the Collector, right?
Yep.
He's like asking, "Where's the stone? Where's all this?" And
Yep.
then you see Gamora.
Oh well, let's back up. Let's get over here.
Yeah, that's right.
So Gamora approaches Quill and says, "Hey, if anything happens,
That's
to me,
right,
you
yeah.
need to end my life."
Because she knows something.
Peter Quill's like, yeah, he rolls his eyes and all this shit.
And I was thinking, like, dude, all this movie needs to end it right now is Stick from Defenders. he would have pulled out that samurai sword, cut her head off, and been like,
Now we're done.
"Wish granted." He'd been like, "No problem."
Yeah.
There you go, man.
He's like, "I've been waiting to kill your green ass this entire time. How did I know you were green? I'm blind. I don't know."
I love the Gamora in this.
I did too.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was great. She was phenomenal. So they pull that aside. They get to nowhere.
Yeah.
And from there,
I think we're right though. Nowhere. I think it's nowhere. Or is Rocket?
Nowhere.
Is Rocket Thor in nowhere?
With no.
Okay, they're not.
No.
Okay.
With a K.
Right.
Yeah, like no.
No.
I know.
Know what you're talking about. With the glass.
Obviously, I don't.
Right.
That's
I've
why
only seen this once. Come on, man.
Yeah, and we're trying to recap it all in our brains.
when it was like the most epic movie ever, and we're trying to recap every detail right now.
I walked out of there and I told Marcus, like, I was awake enough. I was like, dude, if they had a 4 o'clock show at 4 a.m., I would have like turned around, bought a ticket, and
I mean,
walked right back.
you're
into the
right.
theater.
That movie could have been 10 hours, and I wouldn't have felt like it was 10 hours.
No.
It was so phenomenal. So from there,
Yep.
jump into it. Who wants to grab it?
So Thanos is torturing the Collector.
Yeah.
Right,
And while you guys are looking at all that,
what
I'm
you
just searching.
perceive as.
Yeah.
Yeah, and while you
Yes.
guys are like watching the movie, I'm just searching for Howard the Duck.
That's right. Or like the Golden Retriever.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the dog.
Moondog.
That was it. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
But he's torturing the Collector, and then like Peter Quill's like barking out these orders. He's like, you go left, I go right, and then nobody listens, right? Which is amazing. Yeah, he's like, stop, and then everybody just keeps going.
You were saying right from there, you have Peter Quill. He's kind of
barking out these orders.
He's barking out the orders, stopping the cavalry.
Nobody listens.
No one's listening.
It's almost like a video game where you get to control your squad,
Right.
and like there's just a bug; they're not listening.
It's glitching.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Drax is like, I mean, he's got like revenge in his eyes.
Oh,
He's getting ready to go kill Thanos.
That was emotional.
It makes sense.
It does.
It makes
yeah.
sense. Like that part's like I know that like a lot of the central characters in the movie are all emotional and they have their own motivations, but like let's think about this. He murdered his wife and kid.
Well,
like,
yeah,
I'd be going
I mean,
ham too.
all the Guardians have like an emotional connection with Thanos. Anyway, you got Drax and all that. So Drax and Gamora and in Nebula. We haven't gotten to Nebula yet, but like they all have this connection with Thanos. We've heard about it for the past how many years now. So yeah, that was emotional. Well, Drax was like ready to throw down. He was.
Yeah. And there's a point there, like, man, I love this. Is the same feeling. Like I always go back to wrestling. It's the same feeling like that I get when I'm watching wrestling. Sometimes it's the suspension of disbelief, and like I'm a fan when I'm watching this movie. So like I'm in it, and like there's a slight moment where I'm like, he could do this. He can pull this off.
Honestly, like Drax has had so much like build up for so long. Like I almost like let him go.
Yeah.
Let him do his thing.
I mean, Ronan did treat him like a bitch, though.
Oh,
when
that's
they met
true.
up.
That's true.
So I don't know if he could stand up. Yeah, I don't know if he could stand up.
What I mean is like I was emotionally in it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was like, you could do this. Come on, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
How did you feel that moment when like Gamora like approaches and attacks what everyone believes is Thanos
Right.
at that moment and like ends him? I mean, you're just like, oh, wow.
Yeah, so Thanos throws the Collector in that like cage,
Yep.
and then next thing you know, Gamora is like shoving a knife through his neck.
The knife, yeah,
and
the
then
knife.
the one that he gave to
Yeah.
Gamora when he was younger, and she throws that in his heart. And
No, in his
you're
neck.
like, and everybody, Yeah,
His
there
neck.
was two. There was like the
she
one in the
stabs
neck,
him in the neck with their sword.
and then the one that he gave her. I'm pretty sure he throws like
Oh,
her
okay,
into
yeah,
his
yeah,
heart.
you're right.
And then like, so I remember the theater was like, are you serious? Like, what's going on here? But I knew something was up. He already had the stone. He had the reality stone. Next thing you know, boom, you see red, and it's going all over. It's panoramic view. You're seeing it all kind of clear up.
But to see the pain on her face,
Yes.
when she did
Oh
that,
yeah. Honestly.
was amazing.
Yeah, it was good.
Amazing.
It was good. She was crying. It was almost like when in Avatar, she was crying over her burnt tree.
It's like having an alcoholic daddy that dies and you still feel some remorse for
Yeah,
him.
you still love it.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely like some love and also no
There
love
is.
lost there.
It's like the ending of Radio Flyer.
Which how did you guys feel about the?
Talking about tear jerky.
Yeah, right, man. We're gonna tear up by the end of this episode.
Oh, yeah, I've been there, buddy.
How do you guys feel about the relationship between Gamora and Thanos? Like, what do you guys feel?
One of my favorite parts of the whole movie, honestly.
Yeah.
I didn't think we'd get that much of Thanos. Like,
Well,
we got a lot of Thanos. We saw tears on Thanos.
Well, and
That's
that's
why
what
I
I
love
think was so incredible.
Yeah.
Is like they really, Marcus, you've said it in cast before. Like that's why Marvel believes in their villains so much because their villains, at the deepest point of their being, believe they're doing the right thing.
That's right. Yeah.
They you saw it in Killmonger.
Yeah. I mean, that's
I
what
don't think you saw it in Loki. I think.
No, he's just an asshole.
right.
You saw that in the Joker.
Yeah.
I mean, really, if you think about it,
Yeah.
I mean, you go back. I mean, that's why he was so. I mean, he thought he was doing the right thing.
But the complexity of Thanos and some of the Marvel villains that I like so much is that there were moments with Thanos where I'm like, yeah, you kind of make sense.
Yeah,
I kind
really.
of agree with you.
Well,
But
and
then I'm
that's-
like, oh,
mass genocide. I agree.
If I'm a complete piece of shit, I agree
Right.
with you. But like, in the moment, I kind of understand what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Well, that's what's cool about it. I mean, that's what I mean.
And I think that's where it varies so much from Infinity Gauntlet. Again, I haven't read it. I am pretty well versed with what goes on. But in that, Thanos is very much just trying to win the favor of Death,
Right.
who just is distraught that there is so much life on Earth, more life on Earth than there are
Life in the universe.
in the
Yeah,
universe
right.
who have ever perished.
Mhm.
In this, it really feels like Thanos is strictly motivated by what he believes is creating balance again in the universe.
Right.
So
Which
man, they
again
gave
makes
so
sense.
much
Luke
depth.
Skywalker tries to do the same thing in Star Wars, and he gets and like everyone's like, "Yay, awesome!"
This is kind of like a middle act. This is kind
Yeah.
of like our empire, right?
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
is like, where do we go from
Which
here?
is why I think it's going to go down as like not even just like a memorable movie in the Marvel universe.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's going to be a memorable
It's epic.
movie.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
If this isn't up for like if Peter Jackson can win an Academy Award for Return of the King, like come on, man.
Right.
Like come on.
Open
I mean,
up
you
the
see-
floodgates.
Right.
Right.
You see box office numbers like we're seeing now. Like it's
It's
obviously
it's time.
you're hitting people.
It's time.
Yeah.
All we see is like all these movies are making so much money, and people like us who we see other movies, we go out, we like cinema, we're obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's time. It is time. It's time to bring comic book movies into like relevancy at the Academy.
Yeah.
Open yourselves up and let's go. Like Shape of Water was good, but Three Billboards was shit. Let's go.
Right.
Like let's go.
I get what you're saying. I get it.
So at that point, Thanos reappears.
The reality thing.
Yeah, back
takes
in
and
the
place,
he
right.
has the reality stone at this point, and now he
Which is, by the way, the best
So
song.
that
Best song.
sets
yeah.
that sets up the whole confrontation between Thanos getting ready to kill Gamora and Star-Lord committing to the promise that Gamora said to him. Say,
Right.
hey, like, you have to kill me because I know where this Soul Stone is at.
And I don't think he was going to kill her.
No. Well,
He pulled the
He pulled the
trigger.
trigger.
He pulled the trigger.
Remember the bubbles? Yeah. the bubbles hit him. I'm not talking Brian guys back.
No, I don't think Thanos was going to kill Gamora is what I mean.
No.
Like when he held her captive, like I don't think.
It was kind of cool. It was kind of like that dad. He's like, I like this guy, and the next thing you know, he disappears. That was a really cool line. I really liked that because it was like a father-daughter moment.
Which is why that relationship was so special throughout the movie.
Yes,
like,
it was.
And like everybody, like I've been reading a lot of comments on like what fans think of the movie and like stuff, and people are, shame on you guys for like thinking that Gamora didn't deserve her rightful place and that she was just a side character in this universe. Like, shame on you, for real, because this is relevant and this was a real great story throughout the movie, and like to think that she should just be a side character to Peter Quill is off.
No.
It is wrong to think that.
Gamora is so, like, honestly,
she's one of
to
the
me,
most
she's
pivotal.
the best. She's like one of the best Guardians.
Yeah.
I mean, she is. If it wasn't for, honestly, you can say that with any of the Guardians, but like Gamora she's very important.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Crazy talk.
From there,
Yep.
as you said, Thanos just kind of backs out.
Yep.
And just like removes himself from the situation. The Guardians decide their only solution is to, from there, track down Thanos' home planet and Titan.
Which was
from there they're heading to Titan. And around this time, we could be jumbling things up, so
Yeah, it was kind of like all over, but
file a complaint.
that's right. Yeah.
Hit a comment,
That's
start a review. Just do it 5.
I think we're doing
Say the
all right.
nastiest things you have to say. Just hit that 5-star.
Right.
From there, you cut back to the Vision and Scarlet Witch storyline, which
Which was like brought to you by the Food Network.
That's right.
Vision, man. How many scenes?
Is it Vision or is it just Paul Bettany? Was it Vision?
Which you
How
guys
many
said that, like, how the
scenes?
hell is he like humanoid now? But you hear Iron Man say, "Hey, he's evolving because of this Mind Stone. Like he's evolving from this humanoid to like this human being, and he's falling in love with Scarlet Witch and all this stuff."
Man,
and
I halfway expected Russell Crowe to come out.
Who wouldn't fall in love
A
with
Perfect
Scarlet
Mind
Witch?
Part 2 was about to happen.
So you cut to that story arc, and I mean, Vision was like such like a main character in this because I mean he's in control of the Mind Stone,
right.
and obviously Thanos. Like, man, there's like 10 scenes them trying to rip that thing out of his skull, man.
That's right.
Each one excruciating.
Yeah, so brutal.
The last one was pretty crazy though.
Yeah,
he rips it out.
We'll
it
get to
looks
that.
like-
That was insane.
Again.
Yeah.
If Stick showed up, he just would have been like, no problem.
I got you.
Man, it's like, slice over.
Let me hide this stone and then kill myself.
But I felt like
Problem solved.
I felt like that relationship though was actually pretty good. I mean, they didn't really dive too deep into it in Civil War. You saw where
You're
it was
right.
kind of going,
Right.
Where Scarlet Witch, when she was like, she was using her power with your boy
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye through the floor, like and I felt like she was like in pain.
Bad is Scarlet Witch.
Yeah,
She's
I'm not
great.
just talking about Elizabeth Olsen, which I mean,
yeah. Honestly,
the goddess. But
Yeah,
like,
she's bless up.
dude, Scarlet Witch was like
she really turned a
bad.
corner. Like she was like one of the most pivotal Avengers that we had.
Most powerful.
Yeah.
She was.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
Ryan, you said it. You just said it, and I really like how you brought that up. Like how it was a slow burn to realize the relationship, or to manifest that relationship to manifest itself into like actual love. Think about the MCU. Other than Pepper and Tony, they've done a really good job of not just manufacturing the concept of love and with characters all throughout the MCU. It takes time because they slow burn it out,
Yeah.
they plan it out, and I like that they didn't when it started with Age of Ultron and then over to Civil War. I like how it took multiple movies for it to get to, okay, these guys are in love, I'm invested in their relationship, let's go.
Right. Another kind of epic moment was like when Bruce Banner. I know we're jumping around here, but like when Bruce Banner shows up and Black Widow sees Bruce Banner.
Heart stopped right there.
He's
man.
like, "Hey, Nat, that was kind of like you saw the connection."
He's like, sun's still going down.
Yeah, what's up, man? What's up? Hit me with the line.
Yeah.
He's like, look good as a blonde lady.
It was. I mean, that part was great.
All right. Talking about jumping around, we're pushing way past.
So now you have Thanos' goons going after these stones. You have one going after the time stone. you have one going after Vision's Mind Stone, and then you had Thanos going after the Reality Stone. So Thanos succeeded in his, and then you have like the whole thing with Vision. You have the Mind Stone. So that battle started out kind of crazy, and then we can dive into the appearance of old Cap. Man, I'll tell you what, dude. That train, the subway train's going through. You see that shadow, and you see Cap. I'm like, damn, dude.
Man, he catches that spear.
Oh,
just
man.
like
Who's the biggest Cap fan here?
Oh, that's
probably you.
I would say that. I just want you guys to say me. I just want you guys to
It's
know.
probably you, because I'm Team Stark. I'm Team Iron Man.
I will say I turn towards Stark.
that'd be my wife.
Tony's like, Ryan's like, she ain't here, but that's my wife.
But I got the luxury, and I think this is becoming a
Like
thing.
I like Steve Rogers.
I whenever we see these midnight flicks, like I usually sit next to Ryan, and then Ellis, and then Tony, and sit together. Like it was really cool because like I'm sitting there, Cap makes his appearance, and Ryan, you would have thought that dude was just ready because like that beard, it was like he just kept that beard,
Those
that
locks,
beard's on
man.
point.
Those
locks,
dude,
locks. And I'm just like, yeah,
him
I
and
dig
Loki,
it.
man,
I dig
can
it.
just like they pull off that hair and all that.
They're
stuff.
good looking dudes, man, for real.
There was some dialogue between him and Thor one time. He's like, took my beard.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
yes.
So I see you copying my beard.
That's right.
Here. I like too, like man, when they show up. So it's like Cap's crew. It's him. It's
Falcon.
Falcon and Black Widow.
Yeah.
And they're just like putting in work.
Yeah, they're
on
doing
Thanos' goons. And I'm thinking like, man, I just saw Thanos' goons like work over some fools, and Falcon's getting the best of them. I was like, it seems a little.
Yeah.
Well, you say that, but like I've always thought that Falcon's character was a little like weak, but I liked how he got some blows in this time. Man.
I was
like,
into it.
cool.
I mean, I do.
Yeah,
like
even
Falcon.
in Wakanda, like he was mowing dudes down.
Oh yeah,
His little dual Uzis, just
right. I like that actor a lot too. He's cool.
Yeah. But when Cap showed up, buddy, Steve Rogers,
that's just
the
theater went crazy.
They did.
Which
Which warmed my heart because
does.
people still love Captain America. And, like there's something inside them that makes them feel like all warm and fuzzy about like the red, white, and blue, and that's just cool.
See, that's the appearance that I wanted Superman to make. You know what I mean?
No, it's interesting you say that.
I mean, because
you're
you're kind of relatable. I hate to jump back. I keep jumping back into Justice League, but like you see where this could have went, and just to see Superman show up, you just don't have that same feeling.
You don't.
That you don't.
I said this like to do a quick comparison of what Marvel has built and what DC has like failed to accomplish, and I think a lot of that is Marvel's characters can be a little bit more relatable, and they can also like expand a little bit more because like while you're familiar with all of them, they're not the most iconic characters of all time.
You're right. The reason why we connect with Marvel characters over DC characters is, and which is crazy because a lot of the DC characters have a human element to it. The Marvel characters, we feel there's a human complexity. Even with aliens, there's human complexity that we can relate to that are built in with the fundamentals of that character. Right. Whereas DC, they're superheroes to us.
Yeah, I mean they're iconic characters. Yeah. They're you have Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman.
Yes.
And there was
iconic.
There was a time I leaned over and I said to Tony, I was like, man, it was hilarious, but I was like, you can't get away with that in a DC movie. And that's what they tried to do in Justice League. Yeah, it just fell so flat, but
all the comedy, everything, like it just doesn't work for DC.
No,
it doesn't.
No, it absolutely does not. So like right after you have Cap show up, they kind of rush the goons out of there.
Yeah, they get them all out. They beat the shit out of them,
which was cool.
Like they win
with his new shield.
And I know
he hasn't had the new shield yet.
No, Marcus
did. It came out of his arm.
I don't think he gets that to Wakanda, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to bring up. That's
I don't think he had a shield. Like he has.
You're right because they said get that man his shield.
Yeah,
yes.
Marcus over here thinks I was loud. The moment where Steve Rogers and they're talking about how they can get the stone out of Vision's head.
Yeah.
And Steve Rogers is like, I know a place. And they flashed to Wakanda. I mean, Marcus went fucking ballistic, dude.
Yeah.
Marcus went ballistic when they flashed to Wakanda.
Hey man, Wakanda might be my favorite place in the MCU. Like that's like.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, it's just
It's sick,
it's
dude.
beautiful. When you see
it's
that on the
awesome.
screen,
They're
it's
getting the
gorgeous.
Starbucks. And
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, they even made that joke.
They did.
They made that joke. Yeah, it's like.
That's where I got it from.
Yeah. What is
I can't remember.
what is
I know-
Black Panther's general's name?
I can't remember her name. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, Michonne. Is it Akobi?
Oh, I don't know. Michonne.
Michonne. Anyways, they're landing there, and Michonne is like, "This isn't what I thought you meant."
Okoye?
Okoye.
Yeah.
Isn't like, "This isn't what I thought you meant."
Yeah.
When we said we had opened up Wakanda to the
Right.
world, and he's like, "What do you think we meant?" She's like, "Oh, like the Olympics or something."
Maybe it's
Yes.
It was so great.
awesome.
Dude.
Awesome.
It was so great. So when they land in Wakanda, at this point, man, like everyone's super hyped to see like what's getting ready to kind of take place, and then it was really great. There was some awesome interaction between Bruce Banner and Shuri when they're talking about vision, and she's like, "Why didn't you do science, chemistry, science?"
Right.
And Bruce Banner's like, "Oh, we didn't think about that."
Right.
I have no idea what she said.
Or you
But
had,
it was
you
cool
had,
because
you
it's like she set herself apart right there in that
yeah.
movie, and it was like you loved her, Alice. You loved her in Black Panther. She was one of your favorites.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she's top notch. One of my favorites, man. Like when she threw the blasters on too, when she's like still trying to get the stone out of Vision's head.
Yeah,
It's like
she said there's like
shortly
a
after.
trillion different neurons that they have to connect
Yeah.
to take it apart from, to take the stone away from Vision, and that's what they're there for. Is to kind of separate Vision from the stone.
Stick could have separated.
Yeah,
But it was cool because like you just said it. It was like Banner's like I have no idea how you just I do.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's like,
Got it.
"Well, we did."
Right. It was so good.
Yeah, at that point.
Have we seen M'Baku yet? At that point, I can't
No,
remember.
I don't
that-
think
that-
he
that's
showed
still-
up until the battlefield.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I think
I was
like
happy.
as they were having this conversation, like I think that's when like they start coming into Wakanda. They're finding the stone. So that's when
that's
they're like, he's
right.
like,
Yeah.
get this man a shield.
And Ellis screams, "White Wolf!"
Oh yeah, that's right.
Wait a minute. What about the scene? They're on the battlefield, and
You get
Rocket's
Rocket.
like, "Nice arm." He's like, "How much?" What did he say? "How much for it?"
Yeah.
And
He's like, I'm gonna get that arm.
And Bucky just walks off. And he's like, "I'm getting that arm."
Yeah.
I was thinking about that when I was driving home. I'm like, Bucky was actually one of the guys that disappeared at the end. Rocket
Yeah.
was not. How cool would it have been if like his arm just fell to the ground?
Dude, when
and
Cap-
then Rocket goes and grabs it up. He's like, I got it.
Yeah, that part.
That would have been sweet.
Well, because like he's like in Guardians, he gets the leg.
Right.
He loves like what's Rocket's obsession with appendages?
Oh,
He's
he got the
gonna, like
eyeball.
one time he's gonna be like, "I'm gonna get that dick."
Right. Right.
Oh man! So once the battle at Wakanda starts kind of transpiring, at that point
Yeah.
you have the battle between Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man take place with the Guardians because the Guardians show up and they like have it out.
Yeah, you have that whole like dialogue
Like-
between
like-
Tony Stark and
Like that whole
and
"Who are you? Who are you?
That's
Who
right.
are you?" And they're
Right.
like just fighting, and then
we're the Avengers.
Right. And Stark, and that's when Stark like hatches the plan.
And
Star-Lord.
Footloose.
Yeah. Oh man.
That was
Oh yeah. Quill. He's like, "Is Footloose still the greatest movie of all time?" Peter Parker's like, "Well, it never was."
it was never great. that was
His face
awesome.
is just like I'm looking in the camera, and I was like,
Oh,
It
was terrible.
It was so good, man. It was.
oh, then we had like a really important part of that was when Doctor Strange is doing his like meditation, and next thing you know, Tony's like he says something like, "Is that's normal?" Like, and they show Doctor Strange, and he's like doing some weird thing with his face, and he comes back to reality, and it's like there's. What does he say? 1.4 million different ways this can go, and Tony's like, "Well, what's the one we win, or how many is how many does it take before we win? And he's like, one.
Yeah.
There's the one way we win this war.
And you could feel when he said that, the entire theater just sucks air out of that.
And I think that's the most important, one of the most important dialogue in this movie. I think that's, this all happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it,
saying that,
yeah.
do you think Doctor Strange saw what transpired in their
100%.
Yes.
battle?
Oh, 100%. Yep.
So Doctor Strange knew
Yes.
Yep.
that he would be giving him the time stone.
That is why he says at one point, he says to Tony, he says, I don't care who it comes down to, I am here to protect this time stone. That's like, I don't care if it means your life, I don't mean, you know, it doesn't matter if it's Peter's life, whoever it is. And then next thing you know, he's just all of a sudden given this time stone. Like he's getting ready to kill Tony Stark. Thanos is he stabbed Tony in the stomach.
Let me say this. My man,
yeah,
Tony Stark, Iron Man. Dude, he held his own.
Showed up.
He did.
He showed up.
Dude, he held his own more than Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Stark, what time is it?
Oh, yeah.
It's time to get live. It's time to represent.
But you got, like, he was crushing on Thanos.
Yes, he was beating. Made him bleed.
And then, yeah, but that's the best part too. A drop of blood. Because he had a scratch.
It's like all that work
that
for
cool.
a drop of blood.
And then he just crushed him. And then, like, his mask, like, half his face is showing. And, like,
that'd be cool.
Like, is that Wakanda technology? His new suit? It's, like, kind of, like, creeping up on him. Is it not? I don't know. I felt like it was kind of, like, very futuristic.
It could be. It could be.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to see it again and again and again and again.
Right.
But man, when Tony Stark took the blade, dude, like it
Yeah,
sucked
it was,
the air
it was
right
tough.
out of me.
It
I was
was
just
tough.
like,
Then that's when Doctor Strange was like, "Hey, I will give you the stone to sacrifice his life," and that's where I was like, "That doesn't make sense. There's no way."
Back to how much humanity they gave Thanos at that moment too.
Mm-hmm.
Thanos has nothing but glowing remarks to say about Tony Stark.
Oh yeah, he's like, "I've seen you before." He's like, "I've seen you."
I know who you are.
Yeah.
He's like, you fought like a champion.
That's why I think Tony is going to be.
He's like, you were such a monumental like person in like the life of humans. Like that, not his words, but like he is essentially saying that, and he's like, I hope they remember you.
Yeah.
And like that was like again where they just gave Thanos this moment of humanity where he just he's killing.
It's appreciation.
Yeah.
Because again, Thanos is not trying to, in his mind, he's not trying to be an evildoer that is causing destruction all over the world. He in his mind, he cares for the future of the universe.
Right.
He legitimately cares for that. He thinks he's cleansing. That's what he thinks he's doing.
Right. It was powerful.
That's why I think Iron Man. He's the beginning of the MCU, and I think he's going to be the reason.
We
for
always
the end.
forget about Iron Man. Of course, Ellis doesn't. But at the same time, like we always forget that this dude is just a human.
Yeah, that's what's so
always
great.
forget
That's
that.
why
he's
Iron
awesome.
Man is so incredible.
That's why Batman is so great.
Well, that's why Iron Man can kick Batman's ass. Like
how many times at this table right now?
Oh, you don't say. Take my head, but I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
I just got Ryan.
How many times at this table have
You'll
you
see
guys
Iron Man
sat down?
Ninja.
How many times have you guys at this table sat and watched like the 8 to 12 minute of just the Iron Man suit up scenes? There's like a whole like cop video on YouTube.
Well,
it's
you
just like
have.
Iron Man. Oh, dude, I've watched it multiple times.
It's your text message. Oh no, that's
Yeah, no, that's the arc reactor, dude.
Right.
My wife gets so pissed whenever it texts because I was like, I'm like, oh sweet, someone wants to get a hold of me.
He's like Jarvis. Let me know.
Yeah, I'll take this one downstairs, honey.
So yeah, man, when Thanos is kind of ending Tony.
Yeah.
And Doctor Strange. So you believe at that moment Doctor Strange has manipulated them into that point.
100% with Ryan. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't think about that at that point.
I really do.
I thought it was like one of my qualms with the movie is it was so very predictable. We haven't even talked about Thanos killing Gamora when they're on the Soul Planet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Soul.
And how he how he acquired the Soul Stone, but at that moment when they're battling Thanos and Spider-Man and Iron Man are ripping the gauntlet off of Thanos' hand, and Mantis has put him to sleep, almost asleep, and she's like, he's so powerful.
Which by the way, go Mantis!
Right.
Oh, way to go there. That was awesome.
Oh,
You said that was like one of your biggest like problems with the movie because of Star-Lord, like what he did.
Yeah, it was just very much like you knew at that moment.
It was one of those things where he's going to ruin this.
Right, it was like he's going to find out Gamora's
Right.
dead, and now he's going to like go unhinged. Like
Which
he
he
couldn't find out at the beginning of the battle and go unhinged and do the right thing. It had to be at the very worst moment that he goes unhinged. So I just felt like that was predictable.
But is that you told me that over the phone, is that a bad thing? Like, and the reason why I say that is because it's predictable because Quill's character is a stupid human.
Yeah, I mean, honestly.
Like throughout the entire time in all of Guardians of the Galaxy, he's dumb. He's dumb. He makes impulsive decisions.
Oh yeah, but that's what makes him so good.
That's exactly right.
What was it? Was it Tony Stark or Spider-Man when they're talking to Quill when they first meet up, and they say something along the lines of, "Where are you from? Earth?" And he's like, "I'm from Missouri." And they're like, "That's on Earth."
I totally forgot about that.
I didn't see that part. That's awesome.
Where are you from?
I forgot
Earth?
about
And
that.
he's like, "Missouri."
That's Earth.
I'm so glad you said that. I completely forgot about that.
Oh, that part was so awesome. And it goes back to like your point, Marcus, of how like Peter Quill is just half dumb human.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And he cannot control his like emotions as they like start getting the better of him. But before that, you also see, as Tony said, that's death. That's death.
Yeah.
And it was
Red Skull.
Oh.
Which was really weird. I was like, I looked at Marty and I'm like, is that Red Skull?
oh, dude.
I'm like, really?
And he's like floating there.
Yeah.
I appreciate
and
them
you
for
had
doing
no
that so
idea
much.
what was going on, and then as he lands and he's like, are you prepared for what it's going to take to acquire the stone? And Thanos is like, yeah. And then Red Skull leads him up the hill and essentially explains to him the only way to acquire the soul stone is a soul for a soul, to give up something you truly love. And man, it sounds like we just got glowing remarks to say about Thanos, because at that moment you realize Thanos has the only thing that he's ever loved with him in Gamora. And Thanos is realizing what he has to do to complete his mission. And
he doesn't take it lightly at all.
You see the anguish on
Yeah.
it. Like Ryan just said,
going
you
back
see
to like Red
tears.
Skull though, like I was hyped because Red Skull is like an amazing character.
Oh, yeah.
And one thing, little tidbit, that was not Hugo Weaving as Red Skull. Like there was some like problems with like contracts and like he didn't want to do it anymore and stuff like that. But like still, like it was really cool to see Red Skull because all of us, I feel like when we saw Red Skull, all of us immediately flashed back to First Avenger and we're like, oh wait, he didn't ever die.
The whole theater.
He never died.
Yeah, I think the whole theater was just like...
It was an epiphany, and I appreciate, whether it's Kevin Feige, whoever it is, I appreciate that kind of meticulous craft to this universe. It was a great moment. Like to think about Red Skull being on there for like as long as the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been there, like as long as we've waited,
right?
And he's been on that planet that entire time. Like I almost expected like him to be accompanied by Wilson or something,
right?
Like volleyball.
It was great too, Marcus, because like you just had these reactions, and I faulted no one in the entire theater because everyone's reactions were so heartfelt and so loud.
Yeah.
I mean, you heard people in the very front row and somebody in the very back row snoring.
No, that's right. Drew.
But Drew, that's you. We're calling you out. So like, but your emotions when you saw Gamora, when you saw Thanos throw Gamora off that cliff.
I didn't want it to happen, and the whole time it's happening, I'm just like,
I mean, you were so
vocal. This can't be real.
And it was funny. Like I said, I fault no one in the theater for how vocal they were during this because it was such like it was such a battle of like acceptance of seeing these characters that you care so much for. Like,
you're right. I was vocal. I was like, no.
Yeah, Marcus is just like, no.
And they don't leave anything to imagination. They show her all mangled and dead on the stones. Like,
it was crushing. It was crushing, especially to Marcus.
Well, especially when you see her, like, I don't know. I mean, like, announcement, I'm having a second kid. But like, when like, so I'm in that moment, and I'm sitting there, and I see her as his daughter.
Hold on.
Big ups, buddy.
Hey,
Congrats, buddy.
yeah.
Congrats, son.
Thank you. But like, I'm thinking about that, and when they show her as a kid, then I'm in pieces at that point. And you must be too, with two daughters. Like,
because Marty's like, I'm having a green kid.
Right. Well, like, you see that, and then when you see her as a kid, and then you see her die, and you see that connection, which again, God, the writing, kudos to Marvel for doing that. Like, you immediately, you're in, and you're just like, you see her die, and all I can think about is the little girl. Like, that's the whole thing I think about.
And that's back to what I was saying before. Like, that's a dead, like, she's dead, or is it like the ending of the movie dead? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, which one is it? Like, I don't know if she's really out. Like, you just can't have a Guardians without one of your Guardians. Like, I can't imagine that she's
unless
really dead.
Nebula takes her spot.
Which she was dope.
Yeah,
she was dope.
Was tight.
I think Nebula's going to be.
I like when they have
really
Nebula
epic.
ripped apart.
Oh, that was
excruciating.
Screaming like, ew.
And I loved when Thanos is like, she broke in here one time, and we called this in one of our old casts.
That's right.
I was like, she's like, she broke in here and tried to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
Thanos is like, she almost accomplished it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Nebula is bad.
Yeah,
dude.
she's a bad chick, man.
So bad, dude. It was so emotional right around that. I would say like that center climax of the movie, because like that was right at that moment where everything was building. And then from there, you flash to...
You guys get to...
No, I think we're getting to it right now. Stormbreaker.
Oh, yeah. Peter Dinklage's character.
This is going to be a three-parter. Let's just say it.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting to that point. Unless we really start cranking out. Like
it deserves it. Fair deserves it.
Fair deserves it. So, yeah, at that point, you flash to... I can't remember the name of the planet.
Is it Nowhere?
No, Nowhere was the collector.
Okay.
And Titan was Thanos'
Which, by the way, Titan was a sick planet.
Oh, it looked
dope.
Tight.
Yeah, I'm like, for you video game fans, I'm like, man, that's Mass Effect's planet. That's sweet.
So, from there, you have Rocket, Thor, and Groot. Mm-hmm. Still playing the video game.
Right. Still. To this point,
which, like, by the way, like, that isn't... that. Like,
what's he playing on there?
It's Defenders.
Yeah. He's like, I'm Daredevil.
I leaned over to Tony. I was like, that's not Groot or Michael.
That's right.
Tony's got a teenage son named Michael. I was like, is that Groot or Michael, man? Look at
I am Groot. Whoa! Language!
Awesome. And then from there, you have... them forming Stormbreaker,
right?
And
Thor holding the star power, and
holding the portal of the star open,
and
it essentially kills him. Mm-hmm. And what was Peter Dinklage's character's name, Ryan? And he explains how he built the gauntlet.
Eitri? Something like that.
He explains how he built the gauntlet.
He's the one that built
for Thanos.
And he looked like, what's his name?
Yeah, he built
Mjolnir, yeah.
And he built the gauntlet, and he explained that Thanos had told him, like, you build me this weapon that will hold every infinity stone, and I'll spare your planet.
Yeah.
And then he talks about how he killed his planet anyways.
Yeah.
And then dipped, like, Eitri's hands in, like, that molten, like, steel, and his hands were just, like, ruined. And from there, they formed Stormbreaker. And I mean,
epic.
Yeah.
Where were you at? I mean, Thor's dying. He's got the power of a dead star.
Yeah.
Firing straight through his body.
Sick, dude.
Holding it open.
Mm-hmm.
You never knew, like, these trailers, like, you see those visions, and then you see it in the movie, and it's like, they're epic, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
And then as Eitri is like, we need to handle he needs to hold Stormbreaker to save his life.
Groot's like, hold my beer.
Groot's like, pause.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, what did you
The
think,
batteries
Marcus?
must have run out or something.
I knew it was going to happen. Like, they're like,
Yeah.
where's the handle? Where's the handle?
I mean,
Right?
Marcus is like the biggest Groot fan. When Groot like lays it on the line and picks up that red hot steel.
Well, Groot's
That
one
was
of
cool.
my all-time favorite characters. I don't know why though, because like he's just a sweet guy, like
Oh, he
sweet
is. Everyone
character.
loves Groot.
Everybody
And
loves
like,
Groot, yeah.
like when he tore his like little branch off, like not even little branch off, it was a big ass branch,
Yeah.
and he's just like, fine, like
Yeah,
okay,
exactly, all right.
so teenager,
super,
so teenager.
super powerful. Like, really, if you
Oh,
think
yeah.
about it, like, Groot is, like
Well, he was
super
a
powerful.
teenager, and
Yeah.
we'll get to the Battle of Wakanda.
Yeah.
But he's like pulling some moves from Guardians 1 as a
Yeah.
teenager,
Yeah.
just like
That's cool.
taking down like 30 men with one move.
I mean,
But,
I know you're a big fan of.
Ryan, you're talking about his little twig.
Oh,
Thor,
dude.
Mjolnir?
Yeah.
Do
you're a
you
big
remember
fan of
this,
the
Marty?
Mjolnir.
When
I don't.
When Rocket was, I swear to you, like this happened. I don't, maybe I'm just like not. I swear this happened, but he's like, I am Groot. When they're flying to, it's before this all happened.
Yeah, before they get to the planet with.
And Groot's like, I am Groot, and Rocket's like, well, just flip your little twig out and go to the bathroom or whatever. He's like, I am Groot. He's like, we've all seen twigs, like talking about it. It's like, you don't remember this? I think people were laughing at the point. Like, I don't think a lot of people
Wow, I
grabbed
don't
it.
remember it. But
It's,
I wish
it's
I
in
did.
there. It's there.
It's
there.
It's real. I'm with Ryan on
Maybe I
this.
just wish that happened.
It needed subtitles because it was so loud at moments. It was
was.
so loud.
But I wouldn't change it for anything, though. That was,
Dude,
that was great.
I was having so much fun.
It was.
So once Stormbreakers formed, Groot kind of sacrifices a limb
Right.
to form the handle. They get it into Thor's hands, and dude, you just see like a part of Thor.
That's like the climax, really. That's where
Yeah.
shit changes. Once Thor gets his hammer back, like it's an axe now, but it's pretty much a
Dude,
hammer.
when he-
yeah, I mean that's when shit hits the fan.
Rank
You know
it,
what I mean?
Ellis. Monolier or
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir?
Hey, man, I'm
Mulan
horrible
in
with
here?
that. I'm horrible with pronunciations.
I'm partial to Mjolnir.
Yeah.
I love
Even with the
Mjolnir.
Groot handle.
You make a Marvel Legends of the axe, Stormbreaker. We'll
He's
talk.
buying it.
Yeah, I probably would. But it better have a real root. It better be real petrified.
Big bark falling off of it.
When Thor lands in Wakanda, the theater, I mean,
Because honestly, they were losing at that point. Like there was
Yeah.
like,
and dude, and you see Stormbreaker kind of pulling that typical like Mjolnir where he just throws it and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
takes out like 100
yeah, like,
So, like, dude, the theater went ballistic.
Got
and then,
chills.
Yeah, and then he just like drops like the thunder like punch to the ground, and it just takes out like a huge area. And then that's at the point where him and Steve Rogers like decide like, oh, I mean, we're fighting, but hey, let's have a little beard talk real quick.
That's right.
But like that's
There's always room for comedic relief.
Like he slams the thunder happens, he slams down, kills all those people, and then smoke clears, and he's in his suit with the red cape, and it's just like,
Oh,
yes.
dude, it's tough, man, because like everyone knows I love my boys with bows, and I've like grown to love Iron Man so much, and I've grown to love Thor. Like, man, it's hard for me to say, man. Seeing Thor, like he is just
He's a beast, man.
oh, dude. And you're someone who had like little respect for Thor
Yeah,
going
I
into
mean-
the movies.
I mean, I think I can speak for a lot of people. Like nobody likes Thor.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
the
you
work
said it when you
know?
heard they announced Thor 1. You're like, Thor?
I'm
Really?
like, come on, man.
Now you're like,
I'm like,
Thor?
I'm like, call
Really?
Thor. Call Thor. He'll know what to do. You know? Pretty much.
It was. It
I
goes
have to
back.
say, though, like when Black Panther and Cap at the very beginning, before Thor shows up at that, like, dude, I remember looking
You
over
guys are all
Marvel.
screwed now, store.
Yeah, no shit. But like, dude, when Cap and Black Panther are running down that hill, like they're trucking, and
Who's
they're I don't know, probably Black Panther.
Yeah, probably Black Panther.
What?
So,
Probably Black Panther.
Did you see Falcon versus
he's a
Captain
he's a
America?
4-2 speed, dude. Like,
All
come
right,
on,
who
man.
are you drafting to play cornerback?
Black Panther.
Hey man, Cap could be be a good free safety.
That's right. No, Cap can do whatever he
He's got a
wants.
high engine.
He's more a linebacker. He take on the
Got a high motor.
he take on them line, man.
Yeah, but dude, when they're running in to the battle, like God, I got
Sweet. Like I looked over more. I'm like, dude, they're trucking.
Yeah.
Can we
yeah,
end
yeah.
this episode? Because I need to go see this movie
No, I'm seriously.
again. Marcus leans over midway through the movie and just smashes the pre-order button right now.
Oh yeah, I told him that too. I was like, dude, like I don't really usually smash pre-orders, but I'm like, this is a pre-order, dude.
Oh, this is
Well, I mean, like, we had never seen anything like it in our lives.
No.
And, like, when you see something like that, like, it brought me back to Batman 1989. It brought me back to the first Guardians of the Galaxy. It brought me back to the first Spider-Man with Tobey. Like, not
special.
often do you get
It's
to
special.
see that type of a thing on screen for the first time. And then when you do, like, you know when you see it. And this was it.
let alone
Dark Knight,
building,
dude.
Dark Knight 2. Yeah.
building for all these years. I think we're in a good spot, man. We're getting through it now. We're at the Wakanda battle.
Yeah.
We've done good. We've done good.
Thor.
Yeah, I mean, we're
shows back
getting
up.
to the point where it's like this is, you know.
I know, like, I'm sitting here pre-podcast telling Ellis, like, you know, for you listeners and viewers out there, I'm like, it should be about 45 minutes. We got enough to go through. It'll be fine.
We're only 10 minutes in.
I'm like, I hope you all appreciate how complex this movie was and us breaking it down.
And we've only
like
seen
this
it once.
And we've
Yeah.
only seen it once. You're right. Like, I know you all have seen it and have heard, and I think it's still lingering with all of you as you're viewing and listening to this. And like, same with us. We cannot get it out of our minds. It's like, it's hard to do work. It's hard to change diapers.
It's hard to make
It's
love.
hard to, yeah. Like,
Anything.
I'm
Yeah.
with all of these guys. Like, I'm in.
Yeah, it was crushing. So let's fast forward. We're at the Wakanda battle. At this point, Thanos has already put an end. He has the time stone. And at this point, he is just in need of...
Soul
He's got the
The
soul
mo-
stone. He's got the time stone at this point. We've went through that. And now he just needs the mind
The
stone.
Mind
Mind
Stone from
Stone.
Vision, yep.
And during the battle, they essentially are like, look, like, we can't do this. Oh, that was a great moment, too. When Scarlet Witch, like, goes onto the battlefield and just crushes fools. What did you say her name was? Koei?
Yeah.
And she's like, why was she up there the whole time?
That was cool.
Scarlet Witch just crushed
Yeah.
some fools. But at this
whole
point... Yes.
Hey man, Rachel Ray and Wolfgang Puck are a formidable force, man. They're good. They can do their stuff.
At this point, I think Vision's under attack.
Yeah, he's fighting. He's doing his thing.
He comes out, he starts fighting, and
Until that fight, he was I gotta be real, I gotta be honest, my least favorite character. Until that fight.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like, I was not a Vision fan.
Because you had there was a couple of different battles going on. You had Bruce Banner fighting the
which we haven't even gotten into this. This would be one reason I would maybe go like 4.5. The two issues I had was
up.
how I did not like the battle of the Hulk needed to come out.
True.
I did
And
not like that.
How did you guys feel about that? Did you ever feel that it was like two separate entities, like where Bruce Banner and you had the
Never.
Hulk?
Never
It
before.
was never like like it was two separate people. It never felt that to me. I guess until you watched Thor
It was
Ragnarok.
Bruce Banner
Exactly.
and then Bruce Banner under Rage.
Yeah, it was him.
Well,
like,
that's why we gotta watch Ragnarok again, because I'm sure in Ragnarok they
but that's kind of like,
cues
that's
about-
kind of like where it kind of differed because you had Hulk as Hulk the entire time because it
Yes.
was something different. Like something had changed.
In Ragnarok, hadn't he been Hulk for like 2 years?
Yeah, he'd
Yeah.
been there for a while.
I
He was like
wanted
the
to see.
ultimate
That was
gladiator.
my biggest thing. Yeah, I wish
I
we were
was
a
ready.
little more prepared. I wish that Hulk.
Well, if you think about it, if you go back to the trailers, you see Hulk in the trailers with Captain America, Black Panther, running down that hill, and that's all edited in because
Yeah.
like Hulk he never shows up
I wanted to see Hulk.
because Hulk would have
Now,
smashed, bro.
Ultimately,
Like, it would have work.
Ultimately,
I wonder how Hulk smashes the pre-order button.
Like, you want to pre-order this? You want to smash?
I hope you don't have the iPhone 10.
Right,
It's
right,
like
right.
getting a new one. Now, ultimately, Bruce Banner in the Hulk Smasher destroyed...
Hulkbuster, yeah.
Yeah, the Hulkbuster.
Mhm.
He destroyed the Thanos goon.
Yeah.
But, like, man, I wanted to see the Hulk destroy that.
And they teased it so hard, too. Like, you would see Hulk's face, and then, like, you would see something that, like, it was so close. Like, he was so close to just, no.
It's cool to hear you guys say that because, like, you know, especially you, Ellis, like, Hulk's like up there as like favorite characters. If you're saying how bad you wanted to see Hulk like that,
I mean,
like,
he's
I just know how
one of my favorite characters.
I know how dominant he would have been in that battle.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have needed. How awesome in that battle when Thor showed up.
Yeah,
I almost wish there would have been a moment where Thor showed up and like punched Banner and made Hulk come out,
That's
and
right.
then they just started destroying.
Oh man, that would have been
like,
great. Like, hey man, like,
yeah,
like we need
like,
you.
Like just poking him in the eye until he till Banner like went ballistic.
Twisting his nipples a little bit.
Right.
speaking of like,
And then it could have been like that classic like Hulk punch on Thor.
Yeah.
Although the
Yeah, that
Thor,
would've
the Thor
been good.
Rocket Raccoon like twirl, like with
Oh, yeah, that was
sweet
great.
too. That was sweet. Yeah.
Man, Thor, I'm telling you, dude, he was just a monster. So around this point, you know, that's what I take issue with most in the movie is
But I think
wanted to
they're
see the
leading
Hulk.
up. They're leading up to.
Yes.
I mean, you have the
Yes.
like Marty said it when we got out of this movie. Like you have the original Avengers right now.
Yeah.
Like that's all that's left.
That's right.
So right around this point, they fast forward, I guess, pushing through to the point where Scarlet Witch is having this like super dramatic moment with Vision, and Vision is saying, "End me."
Right.
Again, if Stick was there, it
Well, he said a very He said a poignant line.
Yeah.
Poignant. He said a poignant line. Proper use of
That's
the term,
right.
by the
That's
way.
right. That's right. We worked on that. We looked it up.
He said the line, and this is memorable. He said to her, I know it shouldn't be you, but it has to be you."
Yeah.
And that is.
You're the only one that can do it.
And that is just, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah,
Goosebumps.
The Spidey senses, buddy.
The
The
tingle.
Spidey senses are going off on Marty right now.
It was cool, man.
So she crushes the Mind Stone, and you think at that moment, like, okay, all is not lost.
right.
But
you have
you
Thor
also-
show up and he flies through, and all of a sudden,
he
bam.
crushes like all that crew. She
but while
smashes
she's doing
the
that,
Mind
like
Stone.
Thanos is having like the slowest walk ever towards them.
Oh, you're right. The badass walk.
Yeah.
Let's go the badass walk.
Maybe she took about 10 minutes to destroy
Where were the
that
hip
stone.
bumps?
That's right.
Like,
Boom.
He's flossing. He's flossing, bro.
it's like Jason Voorhees.
So he's like, "Joke's on you,
Right.
Time Stone."
Yep.
Yeah.
Time
just-
Stone what?
He just rewinds it,
Yeah.
smacks the shit out of Scarlet Witch,
Pretty much,
Ugh.
yeah.
and just rips
Just
it.
don't
I mean,
you ever put baby in a corner like that.
it was emotional though too when he picked Vision up and just like the way he took it out of his skull
And the
way,
graying of his body.
yeah, the way Vision just like went completely just like.
It was like pulling like a weed. It was like a root. Like the grass.
I love how you said that. It was disgusting.
It was.
Like,
It
it's
was
like,
like-
all robot stuff
Yeah, it
and
was.
like wires
All
and stuff
those
in his head. And it was
neurons and shit.
gross. I'm like, ugh.
And at that moment, give or take a few scenes of Scarlet Witch crying and looking gorgeous.
yeah. Yeah. Here and there.
You have Thor, which I was a little disappointed in this because I believe there was that battle of Thanos and a few characters. Like I was just thinking the whole time, I was like, why is Thor not fighting Thanos?
Yeah.
And then he comes flying through the air and just throws the tomahawk, hits
pretty much.
Stormbreaker like right in his chest bone.
His heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he just like lands and shoves it in deeper into his chest, and he's just like, "I told you that I would kill you for that."
You're right. He's like, you should have took my head. You should have took the head off.
Well,
Or
but like the dramatic moment.
Right, yeah.
Like,
It was
There's just
epic.
like you can.
Well, honestly, when we watched it, I'm like, really? I'm like,
Yeah, you did
that's-
say that. You're
That's
right.
it?
They didn't need a part two.
Really? Like, kidding me? Like, wow.
Thanos
But-
is done?
And then all of a sudden you see that he's like, you should have took my head off, and next thing you know that you hear the snap of the fingers. Which that's Infinity Gauntlet right there. That's
Yeah.
where it starts. At the beginning of Infinity Gauntlet is pretty much the finger snap.
It was
And that's-
great too because again
Yeah.
I was sitting next to Tony, and
So I was like, that's death.
Tony Tony read that Infinity Gauntlet, and after all his like throughout the entire theater, oh, that's death, that's death.
Right. Tony's like, oh shit.
The finger snaps, and he's like, half of existence, half of existence.
Pretty much.
Finger. He just keeps snapping. Half of existence.
Thank you, Tony, for reading Infinity Gauntlet.
That's where shit hits the fan, right?
And there's that like split moment, and then Thanos kind of once again backs himself out of the scene and is gone.
Yeah.
And there's like kind of that split moment of clarity, like what really happened, and then you see that gut wrenching moment of Bucky
the tears
coming to.
Is Bucky the first one?
Yeah,
he is because you see the moment where like, I don't want to talk about it.
He comes to Steve Rogers.
Yeah, you see Rogers look at him like,
And
man.
I think about it
turning
now.
dust.
I think about it now, and I'm kind of glad they did. But it would have been kind of epic if like his arm was just laying there.
I thought the same thing.
And Rocket like threw it over his shoulders. Like I told you to get your arm.
That
But I'm
would've
glad it was really emotional at that point, so they couldn't do that.
That
Like,
would have been a little
really
too
forced. Yeah,
comedic.
that would have
Like,
been too much.
That would have been too like Marvel.
Yeah.
Like,
But
everyone's
that would have been
crying.
funny though.
Maybe that could have been something where the arm laid there, and then Rocket was like, "Well, if no one's using it,
Yeah, right.
after everyone."
Because honestly, it was really emotional because you see Groot disappearing, you see Rocket seeing Groot.
Again, as loud as everyone was in the entire theater, I was sitting right next to Marcus. And maybe it wasn't that loud, but Marcus was just like,
It was
as
just Marty
Groot
being
starts
loud.
disappearing,
Yeah.
Marcus was just like, "No, not again, not again."
Yeah,
like,
because I do. Like,
Marcus is
one of the
literally. I
things,
know
like,
we're on camera, but you're not sitting right next to him. His eyes are getting
Like,
glassy.
like I do not like it when Groot dies. Like it's like
No.
a really emotional trigger
like
for
your
me.
dog
Like
dying.
it's
Terrible.
brutal.
Yeah, it was rough, but nothing rougher. So let's go through the count. It went
Yeah,
Winter Soldier was first.
It's really all the newer
newer
ones. So you had Winter Soldier, you had Black Panther was right there, which I couldn't believe.
Oh, I was honestly like shocked because he's going over to Michonne, Okani, and he's like, "This is no place to die."
Right, and the next
then
thing you
he
know,
just like, and then you see the anguish on her face
Right.
because her king, like, man, out of anybody throughout the entire like Wakanda universe, the entire time, which is the Black Panther movie, and this movie, she has been like, "I do anything for that throne."
Right.
And when you see T'Challa just like vanish like that, you see the anguish on her face.
And the whole theater, like, because we're all partial to Black Panther after seeing that last month. Like, we're all partial to that, and when we saw, like, the whole theater's like, you got.
the emotion.
Are they still going to make action figures?
Right.
The Toy Wonder over here is like, no.
The emotion on
Yeah.
the actors and actresses' faces that were portraying these characters was, just undeniable. They were in the scene, and the way the entire, like, the atmosphere in the theater, it was like none other.
And I'm going to comment on this. I took notice of this, and I thought it was really, this is part of what made it emotional for me with Black Panther was knowing how much that movie means to the Black community, and seeing how diverse of a crowd that was to see Infinity War, which I would expect nothing less. It was a diverse crowd. To see you could hear you could hear people gasping when it was Black Panther.
That was
you could
me.
hear it.
That might have been Drew in the back.
It was.
No, I agree, dude. Because that sucked the air. Like when you saw him, I was like, "There's no way."
Yeah.
But I thought the same thing. So you had Winter Soldier, you had Groot, you had Black Panther, you had
Drax.
Scarlet Witch, and then you go to
Scarlet
Titan.
Witch, too.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch. You had Titan. Then you go to Titan,
dude,
and you see Drax. You see Mantis.
Yep.
You see Star-Lord.
Yep.
And all of that is like, okay. And when you see Peter Parker,
I don't want to talk about
and
it.
then
dude.
and then you see Peter Parker grab a hold of old Tony Stark, and he's like, I don't feel well. Like I can't reenact it.
No,
but
he said, I don't feel well.
And that's where you see
And
a kid.
he hugs him, and then he hugs him, and he goes,
I think for
he goes,
everybody,
I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
That
And
was
he's
the
like,
most emotional part. Yeah, right there. It was rough.
And Tony Stark was like, "Don't worry, I'm going to get a hold of Aunt May."
Yeah. I'm going to call Ant-Man.
I'm like,
Well, but to see Tony, like, God, Tony Stark is just so good because, like, to see him turn into like a father figure right there, and
I think Tony knew he wasn't going to be one of them because he just like it's almost like his pain being reenacted. He's like, well, I have to. Oh, you see, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange. He knew.
Well, he had the pivotal part of the whole movie.
He knew like. It has to go this way.
That's exactly what he said.
Yes.
It had to be this way.
It had to be this way. He's gone.
Yeah, it was...
Like, honestly, I think it's really Tony and Rocket.
Okay, so think about that,
the
Ryan.
only ones left on Titan.
Think about that.
Well, Rocket wasn't on Titan. Rocket was...
Yeah, he was. No, Rocket was on...
No,
you're right.
Yeah, you're right.
It was,
You're right.
just Tony.
It was just Tony and...
Strange.
No, Strange goes away.
Oh.
Yeah, Strange goes away.
Yeah. So is it just
as he's fading away, he goes, it had to be this way.
Yeah.
Like, think about if Strange...
I'm trying to remember who else was left. I feel like it was just Tony left.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Damn.
Because Drax
is gone. Mantis is gone. Nebula's the only one left.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And she is like so like you can just visibly distraught. Mm-hmm. Like you can just tell the emotion, and she says he's done it.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's accomplished his goal.
That's right.
And as they, it was kind of one of those scenes where, like, again, to me, nothing was more emotional than Spider-Man. You would think me the biggest Spider-Man hater. I'd be like,
thank God.
Like, quite honestly, if you wouldn't have felt anything right there, I'd been like, I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah.
You're just a prick.
I was like,
that was
oh my God, like Tom Holland right there deserves to be, get some awards rolling that kid's way, because like that was so emotional and it was so heavy, and you could see how heavy it was on Tony.
Yeah.
And
that was his like greatest fear, bringing Spidey into the Avengers.
Yep.
He's like, you're knighted, kid.
Oh, yeah.
That was cool. But that was his biggest fear, and his biggest fear has come to fruition a little bit.
But had Strange not said that comment, like Strange was the Leia of this movie. He's the hope. He's the hope provider.
Yeah.
Because had he not said that line, we'd be distraught on this episode right now.
We already are.
But we'd have no hope.
Yeah.
Again, back to closing scene. We're getting ready to close out this episode too. Right. We also want to give a shout out once again to Katie, drinking outside the box.
Thank you so much.
Huge shout out to Shirts on Tap. Head over to their website. Make sure you enter that code HTBT.
Damn. Heroes by the Pine.
Bye. Head over to Shirts on Tap. Make sure before you check out, you enter that coupon code HBTP. That will get you $13 off your first order. You will get that first box for $5. And like I say, the shirt represents. We're supposed to be getting into the Indie Minute and the Comic Poll episodes segments this week, but I think we're going to have to do that next week.
Yeah. It's coming to you.
Yeah, it's coming to you. Those are going to be sponsored by the Indie Minute.
This is a special. This is a special.
That's
episode.
right. I mean,
I hope you guys can feel like the
passion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, we worked endlessly to try to break this movie down scene by scene. This is the first time we've ever done that.
Yeah.
To go from front to back of this movie.
Yeah.
And again, we could do a third episode on this if we wanted. But moving forward, the very next few episodes and every episode following, we're going to be doing an Indie Minute where we take a moment at the end of each episode, which is going to be sponsored by Short Fuse Media Group. And we are going to do a quick review of some indie comics that we've been reading, as well as doing the Comic Poll Weekly, which is sponsored by Secret Identity Comics here in Delaware, Ohio. And during that segment, we're going to just kind of give a quick rundown of some of the some of the comics that we are polling. Now, back to the closing scene.
Oh.
Thanos crying sunset.
Yeah.
How'd you feel? Man, the
Avengers, they lost. That's how I felt.
You did? That's what you felt?
They lost. Like, it's pretty much like, I mean,
I felt,
yeah, we're getting a second part.
I felt torn because, again, they took the time to give Thanos so much like humanity throughout this, and you could tell, to go back to the word I was just using talking about Nebula, you could tell how anguished he was throughout most of the movie, and most of that centering around Gamora, but like he truly felt that this is the only way to create balance in the universe. And who was it? Was it Nebula who said that to him? What are you going to do after you accomplish your goal? And he said, I'm going to go watch a sunset.
And smile.
And smile. And they close out with that. It was...
Yeah. And the
emotion.
Did you guys catch the Infinity Gauntlet? How it's like burnt toast. Did you guys see it?
No.
You guys didn't check it out? Like the gauntlet was like, it was all burnt up. Like it had been spent. Yeah, like after he snapped, like it's pretty much like.
For me, it was I agree. I was torn because I felt like I said, I understood Thanos' reasoning, and when he sat there, it was a smile of relief. Like he just went through a ton of stuff that kind of tore him apart too.
Would you say a gauntlet?
Yeah, and for him to sit there and just kind of like look up at the sunset and smile,
yeah.
It wasn't a smile of villainy. It wasn't a smile of I had accomplished something. It was a smile of maybe this is all over and I don't have to do this anymore, and I can go back to just being a species, a person.
Purple
thing. Yeah,
yeah.
And like there was a sense of humanity there. And
is he on Gamora's home planet? You think at that point?
I think so. I think
like,
so.
You know how he said,
because Titan.
That's why he
destroyed.
Yeah, Titan was destroyed. He said, that's why he killed all the people on Gamora's planet, and he said you should see it now. It's a lush planet of
right.
It's
thriving,
right?
Yeah.
Because of what he did.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like he's on that planet now.
And then the way it ends, like where it's so un-Marvel like even
post credit.
No, the credits, like when it goes black screen, and then like look at those listening and watching. Think about the typeset, and when I say typeset, think about the fonts of the credit, and when it goes black, think about how unique the fonts in the typeset looked on screen. It's so un-Marvel like. It's so different than what you would ever expect.
It's very Times New Roman.
It really was.
No, yeah, it was very simple.
It made a point.
Yeah.
It was serene.
That's all you need.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then as it pulls up and it says coming Infinity Wars 2, and then it just like melts away in that ash.
It says like Thanos will return.
Yes.
Yeah. And so post credits.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel.
So I think that they're doing like a 90s Captain Marvel.
Yeah, they're doing it on purpose.
Yes, and like cause you see Nick Fury in like some of the.
Well, I think that's the beeper. The beeper's only from the 90s.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Well, that's the thing that I am going to be like a little like, how do you tie Captain Marvel into this universe with a 90s based movie?
I know.
Without like Tony Stark, like because essentially like I guess Captain America was the first superhero in this universe, but then you have Tony Stark. Like there's no talk of anything that came prior to.
There
Tony
will
Stark.
be, and that's what the 90s are going to do. Is because what is going to happen here, and that's what is Captain Marvel isn't going to be Captain Marvel in the 90s. What she's going to do is she's going to be the sidekick of actually Marvel, the Kree warrior. And then once she's the sidekick of Marvel, Marvel's going to die, and she's going to take over the Marvel. It's her origin story. She's going to take over the Marvel throne. And when she does that, there's a lot of Thanos ties in that history. I love how I'm dropping some comics now.
There you go. Do your thing, bro.
There's going to be some ties with Thanos
Wikipedia,
there.
everybody.
Exactly. Thank you. Like some ties there, but then at the same time, it's really cool because. Like, I think that was the whole reason why Fury has a beeper. Why